Welcome to Real Pride. I'm Pat McDonald of HollywoodChicago.com.
And I'm Jeffrey Leibham.
Jeffrey, of course, is one of Chicago's foremost Oscar experts. And this time we're going to do something a little different. We did an Oscar overview a few months ago, but now for Pride Week, we're going to look at, in two segments, 4 gay-themed films and kind of go over them as an overview for Pride Week. So let's get right to it. Our first film is Parting Glances. Jeffrey, a little background on Parting Glances?
It was made in 1980, or released in 1985. The first film to star Steve Buscemi. It was very, very well received critically at the time because many critics, as well as I think gay audiences, thought that it was the first film that really addressed the AIDS epidemic in a realistic way. I think it was actually one of the first films that actually even attempted to deal with the AIDS epidemic.
We tore this town apart, man. That's what you need. Find somebody your own age, get your hair messed up a little bit.
Sick of hearing about the good old days.
Listen, we had more fun in one weekend than the entire state of New Jersey's had since the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
That's not saying much.
Basic plot of the movie is Robert and Michael, a couple who've been together. We don't really know how long, but they seem to be a very committed couple. I believe it's Robert is assigned to a job where he has to go to Africa, and is going to be gone for a while. So they're basically planning a party for Robert's going away.
Right.
And Nick, the character played by Steve Buscemi, is Michael's former lover, and Michael is still, I think, pretty much in love with Nick.
Yes. And of course, I want to add that Nick is HIV positive.
That's correct.
And,
that's the character that is HIV positive.
Right, and we see some of the early, struggles with the AIDS virus. I mean, the gay characters in the film are constantly talking about it. And of course, Nick becomes sort of a pariah because he has the HIV positive nature.
Also, I think what this film has, surprisingly, is a lot of humor in it, which definitely helps it when you're dealing with a subject that is very grave and scary. I think that they really lightened it up, and that was a big plus, and I think that's what makes it very realistic.
I think this one is a lot more positive about natural life and how people react to things. And one more thing about Buscemi in the role of Nick, he never makes you feel sorry for the character, which is brilliant. I mean, it's a really subtle performance, especially when you come to the ending and they do sort of a kind of precious scene. Even that scene he pulled off without making it seem like it was too precious. So as far as a star rating on this, I'd give it 4 stars.
And I would say I'd give it 3.5 stars.
Okay. Our next film is Cruising, directed by William Friedkin, released in 1980. Jeffrey, there was a little controversy with this film.
There was a lot of controversy with this film. There was huge protests when this film was released at every single theater that it was shown at. The gay community felt that it was a complete misrepresentation of what they were. They were afraid that heterosexuals were going to see this film and think that every single gay person lived a life in the S&M scene or as a leather man.
Go over the plot of it. Al Pacino is essentially a cop, and we have this gay serial killer on the loose. He's a cop named Steve Burns, and he wants to move up in the ranks. And New York City, of course, is under high alert because of this serial killer. So he essentially goes undercover into the S&M bars.
Correct. So in a way, you do have an interesting concept for a screenplay, whereas Pacino's character is learning about the leather scene. You're actually exposing the rest of whomever would be viewing this movie, or middle America, if you will, to know what a red hanky in the left pocket means. I mean, it's all in the film. And
okay, so now you've viewed the film after having some initial trepidations about it. What was your reaction?
I actually enjoyed the film immensely. I think that it's a very, very well-paced thriller. in a very, very strange way, I think this film is almost an allegory for the AIDS epidemic, because there is a killer out there, but who can we find the killer? 1 year later, in the New York Times, there was a killer in New York.
That's pretty amazing. It never occurred to me. My favorite part of the film was the police corruption angle. You know, they just wanted to find somebody to blame this on.
That's correct, a scapegoat.
It didn't even matter who it was or whether as long as the evidence pointed towards something or someone, they were willing to go all the way with it. I mean, we see the scene where they're actually making an interrogation.
Correct.
I want to see it. What the hell was that?
Maybe that was a little controversial, okay? But I think
because of the tactics used,
right? The tactics used, but all the way to the ending, which was really strangely vague. I really stuck with the film. I understood the motivations, and I understood it was as much of an indictment of police tactics as, you know, S&M gay men, if there was even an indictment.
Right, and I wouldn't say that there is. You see a lot of films where you can tell that, you know, they were trying to recreate kind of a feel or an era, or you know, whatever, and they don't get it right. I really think that William Friedkin got this right.
Yes, absolutely right. Okay, and your star rating, sir?
3 stars for Cruising.
I will give it 3.5. I really enjoyed this film. It really surprised me. Okay, in our next segment, we're going to be going over 2 more gay-themed films. We don't forget the girls. Desert Hearts will be the first one, and the second one, in celebration of the 40th anniversary of the Stonewall Inn riots, we're going to be watching Stonewall. So stick with us on Real Pride.
See you soon.